I was raised and have lived most of my adult life sort of immersed in the community that doesn't have experience with prison, the prison system and mass incarceration. And I was able, because of a practice, what I consider an art practice of making personal connections with people who have had that experience, I was able to kind of jump the gap over to the community of folks who have been incarcerated or have family members who have been incarcerated. And so what I see is kind of myself as a bridge of connecting folks who have had this experience with the criminal justice system and folks who haven't. So I'm working on a few different sort of threads of projects while I'm here at Halcyon, but I think I'll talk about the one which is really delving into the stories of what I call juvenile lifers. So these are young people, and particularly from DC. I'm working in DC at this moment. So people from DC who were juveniles charged as adults, so they were 16 or 17, and they were given life sentences. I'm working with one collaborator. His name is Halim, and he's done 21 years on his sentence that he first went in when he was 16. He was charged as an accessory to a murder, so he was sort of hanging out with older guys who were involved in a murder, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, essentially. Never touched a weapon, never fired a weapon, and was given a life sentence. So now, 20 years on, he and many of the other young men that I have met doing this work have kind of against all odds gotten themselves educated, read voraciously, done all kinds of programming, educated themselves in various ways, stayed as best they can connected to the outside world, which is a challenge. I decided to apply initially because at the time the application was out, I was finishing grad school and I was doing this work, but I just had no idea where I was headed. And it looked to me like the intersection of innovation and social justice and creativity and art was sort of exactly the right thing at the right moment. And it just, I read the description and I said, yeah, my work fits in here precisely. Broadly, just all of the people that I've had the opportunity to meet, even though, unlike some of the other artists, I was already based in DC, and I know a lot of folks in DC. And yet, being at Halcyon, I have just met so many people who I consider now friends, supporters, allies, kind of members of my team, members of my community who understand this work and are willing to help me push this work forward. The intention of my work, more than anything else, is to have people have the experience of making a connection with someone who has had that experience in the criminal justice system that they haven't had, to simply say, and whether it's writing a letter to someone who's incarcerated or listening to the story of someone who's incarcerated or meeting them in some sort of forum where they can have a personal connection, and of course film being a great medium to do that.